this first happened and Russia was going into Ukraine, I looked at Russia on a map and I looked at the Ukraine and I said, it's not winnable, right? It's not winnable for Ukraine. They're too small. And it's going to be a lot of bloodshed. So my thought was, okay, this will probably be over in a week, in 2 weeks, right?
There was a deal on the table 1 week in that President Biden blew up and would not allow to happen. That war would have been over. You would have saved millions of lives. All the money that was spent there, unfortunately, that administration did not want to see peace and didn't want that war to end.
And I guess that I'm thinking that if we weren't funding it, Ukraine would have no choice, right? Not that I'm rooting for Russia, obviously, but it just seems like we have a hand in prolonging the amount of like deaths and devastation happening over there because we're like, keep going.
I mean, you blame Russia and you blame Ukraine. I mean, those are the two countries that are fighting. Those are the civilians that are dying in this war. And it's millions of people that have died already in this war. I was on a flight myself a couple years ago from Poland to Israel. It was 100 Ukrainian Jewish refugees that had to leave and were going to Israel. And one of the couples were in their 80s. They lost their home in World War II when Ukraine was invaded by Germany. And then they lost their home now a second time when Russia invaded. And I couldn't help but sit there and think about, gosh, if I was in my 80s and I had just lost my home for a second time and I was having to leave my country and move to a foreign country that I didn't really know anything about and start over again in my mid-80s, like how horrible and tragic is that? And it really brought home just the realities of war and all those people on that flight, their sons were not there. Yeah. Their sons were there fighting the war and probably dying, and how tragic that is as well.